You're listening to KTST FM, Orange County. Now broadcasting from coast to coast and around the world at KTSTFM.com. Stay tuned for more.
Welcome to episode 9 of Secret City Geek Lab, your resource in everything geek. We'll talk movies, TV, comic books, video games, and anything geek. I'm your host, Alan Ng, and you'll hear from me and members of the improv comedy group Secret City Comic Society. And this week, we'll feature Michael Garate and Joey Shope with video game reviews. Today's show is brought to you by Secret City Comic Society, the best in all ages improv comedy in downtown Fullerton. Visit Secret City Comic Society and the Geek Lab at secretcitycomedy.com. Coming up this week, a video game review of Age of Empires 2 HD, a trip report of the Iron Man tech at Innoventions at Disneyland, a video game review of Injustice: Gods Among Us, a television view of Zombieland, and a crossover announcement from the IDW panel at Wondercon. Coming up first, we're going to talk Age of Empires 2 HD. In Age of Empires 2 HD, fans of the original and new players alike will fall in love with the classic Age of Empires experience. Explore all the original single-player campaigns from both the Age of Kings and the Conquerors expansion. Choose from 18 civilizations spanning over 1,000 years of history, and head online to challenge other Steam players in your quest for world domination throughout the ages. Highlights of this new version is that it has been remastered for high-resolution displays at 1080p+, enhanced visual engine that has improved the terrain textures, water, fire, and ambient lighting effects. And the new Steamworks features include achievements, leaderboards, matchmaking, and cloud support. And you can also share user content with Steam Workshop support. Our own Joey Shope has a report and a review. This is Secret City Geek Lab. I'm with Joey Shope, and we're talking about video games. And today, we're talking Age of Empires 2 HD. All right, Joey, tell me about this. This is a redo.
This is a remake of the very popular game Age of Empires 2.
All right, tell me about the game. What essentially?
Well, there's a story mode, and that you follow like famous people from history and their conquest of their local land. For example, there's a section about Joan of Arc. You can play as her and all the French army fighting back against England. You can have this part of Genghis Khan, where you can take over all of Asia.
So, what kind of game is this?
It's a real-time strategy. So,
and what is the essential gameplay here?
Most of the time, you have like a central city. Like this is where you very start off. This is like the town market. You have a couple of villagers. The villagers do everything. They cut down trees. They mine for gold. They get all the materials to make bigger and better things. You can build a barracks where you can make army people, knights, horseback archers. All these medieval kinds of people who are warriors.
And does time progress based on doing research?
Yeah. The more research you do, the more advanced your technology becomes. Really, for your knights, they start out as a regular militia and rabble, but the more you give them, they have swords and shields. They have better armor. And you take these people and you conquer other people's lands and take all their materials for yourself.
So the other lands you're conquering, is this other actual people, or is it?
It's like their factions. Like there's the English army, there's the French army,
But that's all operated by the computer.
Yeah. However, the original one was you could do LAN-based tournaments. You can hook up your computer to other people
and play others.
But the HD remake, this one, you can just connect through Steam to other players. So instead of having to, a couple of computers up, now you can just do it all online.
And have you done that?
Yeah, I did it a little bit. This was my childhood video game for computers.
Okay.
So I'm playing a lot of the story mode again, really getting into... You don't have to do the story mode for this game, and for the original, you can just do, I want to be this group of people versus this group of people. Or I can be this group of people, and I'm allies with this other group, and we fight a bunch of different people.
Alright, so this is more of a up-to-date version of, you said, number 2.
Yeah, this is... I'm not usually a big fan of HD remakes. I think that they're just, slapping some color onto some older games. But this one is by far probably the prettiest remake I've ever seen. I look back with nostalgia at these older graphics. I played the original one on my home computer, and then I played the remake one on my laptop, and I put them next to each other, and it's like night and day graphics-wise. Of course, it came out in 1999, so the best graphics were Age of Empires 2 for the original computer.
So more details.
More detail, the water looks nicer, the ground looks nicer.
Better resolution.
Exactly.
Okay. And in terms of gameplay, I assume... I played like Civilization a long time ago, and I got pretty addicted to that. What is it about this game that draws you to it?
I don't know, it might just be nostalgia, it might just be the fact that it's super simple. You have a very clear objective. You have to take over this other kingdom and gather resources in order to do it.
How often do you play? How long are the stretches that you play in?
When I first got back into it, it took me like a little while, probably 2 hours to beat just one other person. But now I can destroy two to three kingdoms in about an hour and a half. This is a game I haven't played in like 5 years. I think I played it 5 years ago just for kicks and giggles.
Okay, so you were beating the computer. Have you had a chance to play the online version against other actual people? Yes,
I've done a couple games. I've won and lost. I forget how competitive people can get with this game. I remember I was the Teutons, and I was facing against Vikings and the Franks. I got pretty much demolished within the first 20 minutes. That was the very first game I played, and then I kind of had to go play the story mode again to remember how to play everything and how to do everything correctly.
Okay, if I'm a first-time user of this game, first-time player, quick to pick up? Does it take a little bit of time?
Oh, there's like many games, there's a tutorial in it. That tutorial, I think, is really good for this kind of game. Some of them can get a little confusing, a little bit hard to understand, but this one is very straightforward on what to do. You take a villager, you make him chop down wood, you now have a wood resource. You take a villager, make him hunt some animals, you now have some food in-source coming in. It's very simple to pick up and play. I highly recommend it for new players, especially if it's new people coming into computer games as a whole. This is a great game to start off on.
Okay, and if you are an advanced game player, is a game too easy? How is it?
That's really where you start playing different people, and it can be can get very difficult. Like I said, I consider myself a bit of a learned person on this game, and I easily got destroyed in the first 20 minutes of playing. So competitive play is a lot of fun and can be really difficult.
Okay, from a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate Age of Empire?
2.
A 2?
No.
I'm sorry. From a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate Age of Empire 2 HD?
I would rate it a 9.
A 9. All right, why? What makes it less than perfect?
Because it's not really, they didn't change it. Now it's not like mind-blowing new game. The reason it's so close to perfect is because a lot of it is an HD remake. Mm-hmm. They didn't add a lot of new details. You don't get any more stories in it. You really just do the same game, but now it just looks a lot better and it goes a lot faster because of how much better computers are.
Would you say it's the best RTS out there?
I would, but I don't think a lot of other people would.
Okay, well, this is your opinion. So
yeah.
That's what we're asking for. So, okay. The Secret City Geek Lab, we're talking about Age of Empire 2 HD. I'm Alan, and we're here with Joey Shope. The weekend's approaching, and you and your friends have nothing to do, or you're looking for a safe place where you and your family can just laugh. The answer is Secret City Comic Society, OC Weekly's 2011 Best Improv Group. For 90 minutes, the Secret City cast will make up comedic scenes based on your suggestions. No two shows are ever the same, so it's a new experience every time you come. Secret City Comic Society has shows every Friday night at 8 o'clock and Saturdays at 6:30 and 8:30 p.m. in downtown Fullerton. Mention Secret City Geek Lab, and tickets are only $7.50 per person. For more information about one of Orange County's best improv comedy shows, check them out at secretcitycomedy.com or at Facebook at facebook.com/secretcity. You're listening to KTST-FM. This is the Secret City Geek Lab, and I'm your host, Alan Ng. Coming up next is our trip report, and this week we head to Innoventions at Disneyland in the Tomorrowland section, where we visited the Iron Man Tech exhibit. And here's my report. This is Alan Ng with the Secret City Geek Lab trip report. I had a chance to visit the Iron Man Tech presentation by Stark Industries at Innoventions in Disneyland. I was looking forward to this because this is pretty much Disneyland's first foray into presenting something Marvel Comics in the park. The Iron Man exhibit is at the top floor of Innoventions in Tomorrowland. The way they have it set up is you have to walk up what used to be the exit ramp, and you're brought into the first main exhibition area in Innoventions. You kind of have to do a loop around. The presentation is right next to the exit, but you have to kind of go to the right and loop around to get to the presentation. When you enter, the first thing you'll notice is a very long line, and that long line is to participate in the virtual suit-up, or the virtual Iron Man experience. But you can walk right into the exhibit, and what you'll notice right away is right in the center of that exhibit is the Iron Man suit Mark 42. This suit is the one featured in Iron Man 3, the one that Tony Stark wears in the latest movie. In the showcase behind him are the Iron Man suits Mark 1 through 7, which is featured in Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and the Avengers. There's easy access to all this armor except for the main one, the Mark 42. You are allowed to take pictures, so you can actually get pretty up close to the marks 1 through 7. The Mark 42 is on a pedestal in the center. You can kind of get a picture next to it. It's not bad, but he's kind of out there, and you can try what you can. Off to the side, there are actual movie props, close-up of the Iron Man mask and some of the armor. You can get some pictures of those. But I think the big event is to get into the virtual suit-up. Again, you're going to have to stand in line for this one. The line takes about when we got there, it was about a 45-minute wait. For others I've seen, it was been a 60-minute wait. Basically, you can kind of take it or leave it. If you really want to do it, I'd stand in line. If you're not really interested in that kind of thing, you can just go ahead and skip it. Essentially, it's a Xbox Connect experience. The first thing you'll do is you'll stand on this pad. You look at the TV screen, and it's obvious there's a Kinect on top of that screen. And as you're standing there, Iron Man armor is being placed upon your body automatically, and it kind of conforms to your body type. So I'm pretty tall. I'm a little over 6 feet tall, and it would fit me quite nicely. And then my daughter, who's about 5 years old, she's about 42 inches tall. And when she stood in front of the screen, they put armor on her, and it was kind of a miniaturized version of her. She was wearing a dress, and so that kind of screwed up the armor for the legs. For the rest of her demonstration, the legs were kind of flailing everywhere because it couldn't get a good picture of her legs. So once you're suited up, you can move your arms, your legs, you can move around, and they'll start playing some music, and you can dance as if you're in that Iron Man armor. Then it takes you into the targeting room where you're able to try the repulsor rays. Targets will fly in, you move your hand forward, that fires a repulsor ray, and as you're aiming, you can shoot those targets. I had to help my daughter a little bit, but she ultimately got the hang of it and was able to fire the repulsor rays on her own. The next segment, it takes you into Tony Stark's workroom where all his cars are. I guess that's more of a garage than anything. And here you get to fly around in the armor suit. So as the repulsors on your hands and your feet ignite, you'll move to forward, you move back, you move to the left, you move to the right, and you'll be able to fly around that room. Pretty simple demonstration, nothing really exciting. Just more something to try. So if you're ever at Disneyland, you want to check out this Hall of Armor, I would suggest going there. I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. It's just kind of neat. It's a very small exhibit. A little bit, kind of wish it was a little bit bigger than it was, but it wasn't. Just a little chance to get hands-on with Iron Man. This is Secret City. I'm Alan Ng, and this is our trip report to the Iron Man tech presentation at Innoventions at Disneyland. Hi, just wanted to let you know about our Secret City Geek Lab website here on KTST-FM and here on this program. But if you go to our website at secretcitycomedy.com/geeklab, you'll get the latest on geek news. We tend to publish articles about 4 times a day with the best and greatest in video games and television and movies, whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, comic books, video games. It's all there. So please visit us at secretcitycomedy.com at the Geek Lab, or visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/secretcity. Be sure to like us on Facebook. You'll get the latest news, and also you get to participate in various contests and giveaways that we have. Coming up next on Secret City Geek Lab is our Injustice Gods Among Us video game review. What if our greatest heroes became our greatest threats? Injustice Gods Among Us introduces a bold new franchise to the fighting game genre from NetherRealm Studios, the creators of Mortal Kombat, featuring Batman, Cyborg, The Flash, Harley Quinn, Nightwing, Solomon Grundy, Superman, and Wonder Woman. The latest title in the award-winning studios presents a deep original story. Heroes and villains will engage in epic battles on a massive scale in a world where the line between good and evil are blurred. This video game is rated T for teen, and our video game expert Michael Garate gives us his review. This is Secret City Geek Lab. I'm Alan, and I'm with
Michael.
All right, and we're doing a video game review of Injustice Gods Among Us. So, Michael, what is this game?
Well, Injustice Gods Among Us is basically a Mortal Kombat type fighting game, but instead of Mortal Kombat characters, it's all DC Universe. So lots of characters from the Justice League and lots of characters that fight the Justice League. It's a lot of fun.
All right, and so it's a basic. Is there a storyline to this game?
There is a storyline to this game. The storyline basically puts you in control of about 5 or 6 Justice League characters, and it takes them to an alternate universe, and it basically have to fight through other like evil alternate Justice League characters and their villains as well, and the story is really good.
All right, and this is available on
PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and there's a free app on the iPhone that ties in with the game, so it's pretty cool.
All right, and what did you think of the game overall?
I really enjoyed the game. I'm not a big fighter fan myself, but it won me over with the costumes and the DC characters and the destructible environments. It's just a lot of fun to play.
All right, how's the gameplay?
It's super fluid. It's easy to pick up on the combos, and it's not hard to like find a good character to get some wins in. It's a good game.
All right, would you describe a lot of button mashing, or is there?
There's a button mashing aspect to it, but it's more like stringing together combos and grabs and trying to outmaneuver your opponent using the environment as well as your special abilities.
All right, for someone who doesn't play games like this much, the fighting type of games, will I get frustrated easily, or will I be able to get pretty far in the game?
It's pretty easy to step into, and even if you don't have experience playing video games, there's a very helpful tutorial, and as you play through the story, you also learn more and more about it and get better at it. Helps you do combos, so there's a really good learning curve to it.
Well, what about for the hardcore then?
There's definitely a lot of areas for the hardcore gamers to enjoy it. Like there's an online mode called Koth where it basically puts about 6 or 7 players that are equal level of skill into one fighting arena, and it's basically a King of the Hill type match, so you'll only be playing players that are as good as you are, about, relatively. So it's pretty fun.
Okay. Have you played it online?
I have played it online.
And how's the gameplay? How's the networking?
It's so smooth. I have not had one network problem at all. Everybody is enjoying the whole process. It's a good thing.
And they're matching up pretty well.
Very well. It's a leveling system, and I usually am within about 5 levels of my level to the opponents.
Okay, what were the things that you really liked about this game?
My favorite things were how many characters actually they give you to play with. I think there's about 20 or 24. That's a lot of characters.
What are some of your favorite characters?
My very favorite characters, the Green Lantern and the Green Arrow. Nightwing's also pretty cool. I'm more of a heroes guy, not a villains guy, but the best thing I think about the characters is that you can unlock all of the new 52 costumes for them. So if you enjoy the comic books, you can definitely see your favorite characters inside of their awesome costumes.
What are some of the villains you can play?
You've got Joker, you've got Doomsday, you've got Lex Luthor, of course, Catwoman. Basically, every villain that has a Justice League counterpart, you'll see maybe about 1 to 2 of their villains.
Okay, and what else did you like about the game?
Also, there's arcade mode that is not really so arcadey, but it gives you more of a story to your individual character, because the main story lets you control about 5 characters. The arcade mode is you pick your favorite character, run through his little story, and then you get to learn a little bit more about the alternate universe. It's really cool.
All right, great. And then what did you not like about the game?
I didn't like that once you kind of beat the game, there's not a lot of unlockable characters at all. They've been talking about a few downloadable content characters coming out, like Lobo, but as far as him, there's not really any more characters that initially came out with the game, so that's kind of a bummer.
Okay. Anything else you didn't like?
That's pretty much it. It's a solid game, super solid. I've been playing it for hours and I can't stop. It really grabs your attention and keeps you there.
All right, so from a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate Injustice: Gods Among Us?
I would give it 8.0.
All right, great. So this is a Secret City Geek Lab video game review with Michael Garate.
Watch Anna Slime.
You're listening to the Geek Lab on KTST-FM, and I'm Alan Ng. Well, coming along here, we got Amazon. Amazon is getting into the television business, and the first step is that they're producing children and comedy pilots. The next thing that they're going to doing right now is they're having their viewers watch these pilots and vote on the pilots that should go to series. I've had a chance to review a couple of these titles, and I'm going to review the pilot for Zombieland. Amazon is getting into the television business. Here's a review of Zombieland. Inspired by the movie Zombieland, this new Amazon pilot hopes to go to series with this post-apocalyptic sitcom featuring the characters and plot devices from the movie Zombieland. 4 lone survivors look for companionship and community while trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. The director is Eli Craig, and the writers are Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the creators and writers of the movie Zombieland. Kirk Ward stars as Tallahassee, Tyler Ross Columbus, Mariah Walsh Wichita, and Isabella Vidojic Little Rock. Zombieland is a sitcom where Walking Dead is a drama. It is also an adaptation of a movie starring Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Woody Harrelson. And watching the movie is not necessary for understanding the television series. And what Zombieland has going for it is decent writing. And as a comedy, it's funny, but it's not hilarious. There are no bad jokes in the entire show, but there are no great jokes either. This Zombieland does not have a huge Hollywood budget, so it employs some cheap technology and effects. And I say this because we cannot fault Zombieland for looking cheap compared to The Walking Dead. The effects here, I say, are good enough to watch. It's not so bad that it's distracting, and, you really want to get into that story. Zombieland has a lot going for itself. It has a lot of potential to be a series on Amazon. The writing is solid, it's not tongue-in-cheek, the comedy is good, and does not reference itself at all. And the best I can say about it has a lot of potential to be a good series, but only if the storylines can take on the bold subject like Walking Dead can. The acting is good from all 4 players. It's my understanding that Kirk Ward, who plays Tallahassee, the role originated by Woody Harrelson, was actually up for the original CBS series of Zombieland. All that said, Zombieland is good, but not great, which is not always good for a pilot, because it's hard to see the potential of a series as it goes on. You have to really believe in the creators, the writers, and the cast in order to make this a series. So I give this television show a 7 out of 10. Has smart writing, decent effects and makeup, follows the plot devices from the original movie. The bad is it's a good show, not a great show. And again, that could really kill a series. This is Alan Ng with a Secret City Geek Lab television review of Zombieland on Amazon Prime. One thing I should mention about the series is that these zombies run, and they run fast, so if you like those zombies, this is the show for you. The weekend's approaching, and you and your friends have nothing to do, or you're looking for a safe place where you and your family can just laugh. The answer is Secret City Comic Society, OC Weekly's 2011 Best Improv Group. For 90 minutes, the Secret City cast will make up comedic scenes based on your suggestions. No 2 shows are ever the same, so it's a new experience every time you come. Secret City Comic Society has shows every Friday night at 8 o'clock and Saturdays at 6:30 and 8:30 p.m. in downtown Fullerton. Mention Secret City Geek Lab, and tickets are only $7.50 per person. For more information about one of Orange County's best improv comedy shows, check them out at secretcitycomedy.com or at Facebook at facebook.com/secretcity. We're back with KTST-FM. This is Secret City Geek Lab. I'm your host, Alan Ng. We're going to end our features with the IDW Comics panel at Wondercon. I had a chance to attend this panel a couple weeks ago, and they made some interesting announcements. IDW really carries a lot of the franchise-type stories, Star Trek, and so on. And they had an important announcement to make with comic book writer Mark Waid, who is writing Daredevil and Indestructible Hulk. And he is announcing a big crossover event that involves the Rocketeer. This is that announcement.
So it's not only the spirit, but it's the spirit as drawn by Paul Smith.
Yes. Yeah. Mark, you want to tell us a little bit about what you got planned for the series? Sure. I mean, the call came in from Scott. He said, I know you're busy, I know you got a lot of stuff going, but another Rocketeer, I would love to, but I just got so much committed going on. And he says, yeah, but it was a spirit crossover, and now I'm on the fence because that sounds amazing, but that's big shoes to be playing in, and it was already nerve-wracking enough to try to follow Dave, but to try to follow Dave and Will Eisner is even more frightening. And I said I'd only do it if we had just the right guy in place for art who could really help raise the game. And when he threw out the name Paul Smith, that was the name I wanted. So I hope you were waiting on that to make that announcement. Sorry. Oh, no.
All right, so Rocketeer Spirit, a 4-issue miniseries by myself and Paul Smith. Pulp Friction, I believe is the subtitle of this one. And it starts with an impossible crime when in Central City, late one winter's night, an angry councilman storms out of a meeting of shady businessmen, and then within a few hours shows up dead on the shores of a California beach here in Los Angeles, much faster than anyone at that point in aviation history could travel from coast to coast. So Dolan brings the Spirit and Ellen out to California to investigate. They meet the Rocketeer, chaos ensues, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of great character work. It's, see what happens when Betty falls in love with the Spirit and Ellen is there. See what happens when Commissioner Dolan falls in love with Betty. See how this stuff goes. It's fun to play them off each other because it's early enough in the Spirit's career where, oddly enough, Cliff is actually the more experienced crime fighter at this point, and that is not something we're used to with him. And so if anybody doesn't know Paul Smith's output in comics, some kind of ebbs and flows. Paul Smith did this book called Leave It to Chance. That's just this amazing, all-ages, fun, sort of fantasy magic story. But I first got exposed to Paul Smith's work on... he took over an X-Men after John Byrne, and then Dave Cockrum came back to the book for a while. And so this newcomer came in, and he has this kind of deceptively simple but amazingly fun and expressive style that, he's been one of my favorites since his very first issue. I guess the very first issue was Marvel's Fanfare, right? Back before X-Men.
Yeah.
And he's a guy I've always wanted to see do more comics, so I would recommend first that you look out some of Paul Smith's other work, and then he's exactly the right guy to do this, just as Mark's exactly the right writer to handle it. So
if you put together a wish list of fantasy baseball artists that all the writers and comics want to work with, Paul is always on that list. He's phenomenal.
Great.
Greg.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw in because I don't see the logo up there. So this is a crossover with DC, and it was something that's been in the works for a while. Some of you may have read erroneously, I might add, that DC no longer had the rights to Spirit. Obviously, that's not true. So much in the same vein as some of our other great projects that we've done with DC, this should be a good one.
Well, this has been episode 9 of Secret City Geek Lab. It's brought to you by Secret City Comic Society, Fullerton's best all-ages improv comedy. Come back next week for more news and updates in the world of geekdom and nerdity. Also visit us online for daily geek news and reviews of comic books, movies, and television at secretcitycomedy.com. A big thank you to Michael Garate and our own Joey Shope for their video game reviews. Until then, we'll see you next week.